Hey guys, Coach Dan from BaseballStrengthBlog.com back with you, and happy Labor Day to you. Hope you've got some big exciting plans for today. Hope you've got an opportunity to get some rest and enjoy a day off. If you can tell, I don't know how much you guys can see around me, but it's bright and early. We got the early morning sunrise still coming up. It's just after 6 o'clock on Monday morning, Labor Day morning, and I'm heading out to work with some of my dedicated ball players this morning, which is really cool. I love the fact that they're fired up and dedicated to work early in the morning on a holiday. But man, I really could have gone for sleeping in this morning. I'm not gonna lie to you on that one. But anyway, got a few minutes before I get to the ball field, so I wanted to send out today's video for you. Today we're talking about conditioning, off-season conditioning for your baseball players, and I got a lot of you guys asking me questions. How much running are we supposed to do? How far should we be running? How many miles should we be doing? Stuff along those lines, and there were enough questions about it that I wanted to put it all together in one video for you. So the long and short of it is, don't do long distance running. Just sprint. That's it in a nutshell. But let's break that down a little bit more and look at the running demands of the sport. The farthest that you're going to run is, let's see, you're going to sprint 90 feet legging out a single. If you're an outfielder and somebody hits a line drive into the gap and you've got to sprint after it, you're going maybe 75, 80 feet at an all-out sprint. So there's really absolutely no reason to sprint any farther than that. Maybe we double those distances in our sprints so that we have a little bit of extra training going on. But we really don't sprint long distances in baseball. So if you're doing sprints that are 100-yard sprints, that's more than enough. That might even be too much. Think about how far you sprint at each position and take that into account as you put together your conditioning program. The other thing that comes into play is, well, pitchers need to do long distance running. Why? Pitching is the most explosive, least amount of running position on the field. As a pitcher, the only time you're sprinting or running is when you're doing your PFPs. You're going over to cover first base on a ground ball hit to the right side. Other than that, you walk out to the mound, you walk back in, and when you're on the mound, you explode as hard as possible throwing your pitch, and then you walk around the back of the mound and get the ball back. There's zero running involved. So it absolutely drives me nuts when coaches have their pitchers go out and run long distances. And they do it. There's two reasons that people have pitchers run, and neither one of them make any sense to me. One of them is to build up the endurance in your legs. Well, that's great, but running is a very slow motion. I don't care how fast you run 3 miles, you're still moving pretty slow compared to the explosive nature of pitching. So that doesn't hold water for me. You're not building the endurance properly to develop a pitcher. Instead, we want to do plyometrics for our pitchers. We want to do squat jumps. We want to do split squat jumps. We want to do single leg hops. We want to do the explosive stuff, which is going to build up explosive endurance for our pitchers. And the second reason that people have pitchers run is after you get off the mound, you're going to go out and you're going to run to flush out the lactic acid in your system. Well, if you want your pitchers running hard to flush out the lactic acid, the problem with that is that running hard builds up lactic acid. So now you're not only are you not flushing lactic acid, you're creating more lactic acid, so you're making the recovery period that much longer. So again, that doesn't hold water for me. So if you've got your pitchers out doing long distance running, stop. Don't do it anymore. It's really that simple. It doesn't work. It's not effective. The only thing that I will allow you to do with your pitchers is have them run 1 mile a day as hard as they possibly can. And I mean, we're shooting for high school and above. We're shooting for a 6-minute mile. If you can't get your mile done in, let's say, 7 minutes or less, don't do it, because you're running too slow. Okay? That's the gist of it for running for pitchers. With our position players, when we're looking to get conditioning aspects from our running, what we're working on is not so much the distance that we run, but the work to rest ratio involved in our running. So something to keep in mind is when you guys out running, maintain a 1-to-2 work to rest ratio. So if your guys run, let's just use round numbers here, if they run for 10 seconds, a 10-second sprint, give them 20 seconds to rest. That's a 1-to-2 work to rest ratio. And when we're looking for a real good conditioning aspect, we'll do 60-yard sprints, not because we believe in the 60-yard time. In fact, I think the 60-yard time is absolutely bogus, because you never run 60 yards on a baseball field. But when we're using it as a conditioning tool, we'll sprint 60 yards, and we'll be in groups of 3. First guy is going to sprint 60 yards. As soon as he finishes, the second guy goes. As soon as the second guy finishes, the third guy goes. As soon as the third guy gets to the 60-yard mark, the first guy sprints back. So it's a continuous motion. One person is always running, 2 people are always resting. There's your 1-to-2 work to rest ratio. And we're only going to go at that for maybe 4 minutes. And then we'll take a rest period. And then we'll move on to a different drill. Maybe we'll do agilities. Same thing, 1-to-2 work to rest ratio on our agilities. We'll do the 5-10-5 drill. One guy's going to go 5-10-5. Next guy, 5-10-5. Third guy, 5-10-5. And then the first guy goes right away again. Maintaining that work to rest ratio is going to really build up your endurance base, but it's not a long, slow distance endurance. Instead, it's explosive sprinting and stop and go endurance. So there's kind of the nuts and bolts of how we design our conditioning programs. And you can modify, you can choose pretty much whatever drills you want. Just make sure they fit into that 1-to-2 work to rest ratio, and you're never working more than maybe 8 to 10 seconds at a time per drill. And that's going to keep your guys sprinting. It's going to keep moving as fast as possible, but it's going to have the built-in rest periods, and it's really going to build up some good conditioning and some speed as well. So that's what I've got for you today. Enjoy your Labor Day. Don't go too crazy at the barbecues, but have a good time. And this is Coach Dan from BaseballStrengthBlog.com, signing off.